is a Crown brush. Take a look at a Morphe brush.
There's so much drama going on right now. Hey, what is up all my social climbing friends? It's Dustin and I'm back with another video. And yes, this video is not going to be about Trisha Paytas or Ethan Klein. Even though more and more stuff keeps coming out, I have to break it up just a little bit because I can't continue to make video after video after video about the same people. So I'll probably get back to that maybe tomorrow or the next day. But today we're going to be talking about Jaclyn Hill. Now you guys know that Jaclyn Hill has a very sordid past with Morphe, and that Jaclyn Hill is Morphe's top seller and top earner and always has been and always will be. Jaclyn Hill is kind of like the HSN spokesperson for Morphe. And we even know that Forma Brands owns Morphe and also owns Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. So we know that Jaclyn Hill is deeply rooted within the Morphe ecosystem, if you will. And what we're going to be talking about in this video today is actually a blast from the past. I never really imagined that a video that was talked about and made by Stephanie Nicole would be so relevant 5 years later. But it is, and I'm here for it. And for those of you that don't know who Stephanie Nicole is, she is one of the OG beauty YouTubers here that is actually really well respected and knows her stuff. She was one of the first and only people to really call out Morphe in the past and really put Morphe in their place and expose what Morphe is, how Morphe came up, and what Morphe does as a brand. And that's what makes all of this so very interesting. So if you guys have been invested in this whole beauty makeup thing from like 2016, 2015 until now, this video is going to be a treat for you. So let's just get into that. So Jaclyn Hill tweeted out the other day and said, "It's still crazy to me that they legit copied my palette and acted like it was nothing." And in this tweet, Jaclyn is actually quote tweeting Crown brushes. Now, Crown brushes has been around, I think, for like 35 plus years. They've been in the game for a very long time. A lot of people know who Crown is. And honestly, I think that this is one of the first stories that I covered as a drama channel when I dipped my toe into the commentary drama community so long ago. It was pretty much common knowledge that Crown most likely did all the private labeling for Morphe and their products. As of right now, I don't think it's that way, but back in the day, it was definitely Crown that was making the brushes at least. And if you listen to Stephanie Nicole, they were probably making the palettes as well, but we'll get into that. So I quote tweeted this and I said, "So we're just gonna act like Morphe didn't do what they did to Crown? Okay, Miss Girl." And there's a lot of ramblings and a lot of talkings behind the scenes about what exactly happened with Morphe and Crown. I kind of know the tea from someone that was actually very close to the situation that I'm friends with that has really told me everything, but I can't really get into that because I feel like that would start a whirlwind of shit. But basically, it was just Morphe, Linda Morphe, and her partner being very, very, very shady in my opinion. But I'm sure you guys already know. So when I tweeted this out, I wasn't thinking anything about it. I knew what I knew about Morphe, but my friend Tanisha replied and said, "Right, because didn't Morphe start off as private label Crown products?" And I was like, yeah, it did. And then she linked me the video of Stephanie Nicole and I was like, oh, this right here. But Marlena still actually replied and said, "Those of us here long enough know and remember." And just side note, I do want to give a special moment to Marlena in this video. She just recently shared that she is dealing with a non-viable pregnancy that she didn't know she was pregnant with, and she doesn't know what's going on with that and everything that's going on with Texas right now. So Marlena, my thoughts go out to you. I am so sorry you're having to deal with this. This is awful and terrible that you are subjected to everything that is going on in that bill with Texas. I am so sorry. My thoughts are with you and your husband. So of course I rewatched the video that Stephanie Nicole put out, and I'm gonna put some clips of it in here in a minute for you guys to see. But people started replying back to Jaclyn, and Jaclyn actually responded to them. So I'm assuming this person's name is Rain. I don't want to say her name wrong or anything, but just for all intents and purposes of this video, I'm gonna say Rain because that's what it looks like to me. But she responded back to Jaclyn and said, "Did Linda and Morphe not fill you in on Crown making their products, potentially making them steal? Your very first face palette was literally you picking eyeshadows from Crown." And I was like, "Ooh, girl." And Jaclyn responded to this and said, "I promise you that is not true. People have a million speculations about that and 99% of them are not true." And Rain responded back and said, "I promise you it is, down to Morphe even using Crown Brush's original coating of their products, but sure, let's pretend they stole from you." And then Jaclyn responded to this and said, "Back in the day, Morphe did private labeling for Crown, not the other way around. A lot of people are confused about the way it worked," which honestly, that is very confusing to me because if Crown has been in business for 35 years, we know that Morphe hasn't been. So Jaclyn, please explain yourself. Please let us know. Please give us the tea on what is going on here. If Morphe has been in business for maybe at the maximum 8, 9, 10 years and Crown has been around for 35 plus years, how does that work? The math is not mathing.
fucking liar.
And Rain responded and said, LOL, girl, Crown was an established company long before Morphe was a twinkle in anyone's eye. Crown has offered private labeling for years prior to Morphe launching. Yikes. And this brings me to what I was talking about in the intro of this video and Stephanie Nicole. So she posted this video, a Morphe brand review, about 5 years ago, and I remember when this video came out because a lot of people were pissed. This was back when you really couldn't say anything about Morphe, and Jaclyn and all these other different beauty influencers were pushing Morphe in their code to make money. So Stephanie got a lot of heat for making this video, and she pretty much dragged them to hell, and they deserved it. But I pulled up some old tweets from Stephanie. She's not very active on Twitter these days, but she said, yep, Morphe makes all their own stuff. They just use the same exact numbering as another brand. Seems legit. I get confused how some fail to see this. Willful ignorance, I suppose. Hate to beat a dead horse. The video was in my recommended videos and is a Crown dupe video. Just screenshot this part. And she posted this on her Twitter as well as her Instagram. And Stephanie also tweeted out and said, buy Crown if you like Morphe quality. Save money. So I'm gonna put in a few clips from Stephanie's video here for you guys to see that summarizes all of what I'm saying in this video to let you basically formulate for yourself what so many of us already really truthfully know, and then I'll be back with more commentary.
So I bought these 4 Morphe palettes to review for you guys. The first palette I got was the Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette. Now that Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette, I'll show a picture right here. You can still buy those shadows individually because to the best of my understanding, this is the only palette where Jaclyn picked her favorite individuals and they put this in a palette. The other ones, since they've kind of learned their lesson, like, oh, we better not do that, so now they don't list the names of them and they say they are different. How different, I don't know, but just to be made aware of that. Also started to notice with my next purchase that the silk screening on these palettes was different. Where here you can see this one says Morphe brushes and this one just says Morphe. Other ones that I've bought say again Morphe brushes on there. Again, another Morphe brushes one. A lot of times what happens is when they're making a run of products, like if I call up a company and I tell them I need 10,000 pieces of this particular product and I need it rushed, they may cut corners, such as not screening on the brushes part, and that also cuts out costs, right, because it's less ink used. So that's why those variations of palettes could exist, but I've noticed that. That was my first sign that they don't own their own factory, because it would be a consistent product then, you know? It wouldn't be like, oh, we're just gonna silk screen this top on and not the bottom this time. It wouldn't be that. It would be a stencil that was done all the time. So I'm going to use the example of Crown Brush. I'm gonna link their information below, guys. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them. They've been in business for 30 plus years making makeup brushes as well as makeup. They do own their own factory in China. They've been around for a very long time. They also are international. They do a lot of private labeling for companies, meaning that they won't put their name Crown Brush on the brush. They'll put whoever else's name, such as Morphe. This is a Crown brush. Take a look at a Morphe brush. They have the same kind of ferrule on here. The quality of hair feels the same, which is scratchy. Crown has been private labeling. They have it on their website. I will link that below that you can see what their requirements are. They have a $25 stamp fee, which means they'll stamp whoever's name on here. So if I wanted to get a brush set by them, pick out my favorites, and stamp Stephanie Nicole on here, I can do that. I was on the site one day and I was reading their frequently asked questions, and I will show a picture of it right here. They asked, people said, if my brush starts with a C, is it still the same brush? Now you notice all Morphe's brushes, and they have different specialty collections now with like the gunmetal is G, but the original, like these Morphe brushes are M and then a number. Well, Crown Brush does that very same thing, and not all of their brushes are numbered, but it would say C and then a number. Well, Morphe's brushes all used to say C and then a number. Now, C doesn't stand for makeup brush, obviously, doesn't stand for Morphe, so what would it stand for?
So my whole opinion on this is, if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, it's not Affleck, it's a duck. We all know that Jaclyn Hill is about that paper, and that Jaclyn Hill is pretty much the face of Morphe. That's pretty much undeniable at this point. We know that Jaclyn Hill has Jack Attack, and Jaclyn even, I think, makes even a higher percentage than all the other people that have an affiliate code, because she has been there for so long, and I guess she has generated so much money and so many sales for Morphe. And we know that Linda is also in Jaclyn Hill's back pocket. But for Jaclyn to get on here and say this, to insinuate that Crown actually stole and duped her palette, is nonsense. There was also another tweet that someone responded back to Jaclyn and said, you should sue them. And Jaclyn replied and said, it wouldn't even be worth my time or something like that. I'm like, girl, how are you gonna sue somebody for ripping off your palette that was private labeled from the company that Morphe used to work with? Like, make it make sense. I don't know, but I'm really here for this petty drama. In my opinion, Jaclyn Hill is totally wrong, and she knows it. She just doesn't want to admit it because I think that Morphe has actually gotten away from Crown. I don't think that Crown and Morphe work together anymore, but the brushes are still very, very similar. As you could tell at the point in time that Stephanie made her video, they were exactly the same. The only thing different was the code that was on the front of the brush. But you guys, please let me know your thoughts and opinions about this and Jaclyn Hill trying to rewrite history as if we would all forget. Hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.